Morning all, afternoon even. Morning, afternoon, good evening, good night. However, wherever you are. How are you doing? Afternoon, Steve, Virginia, Amy, Day Trader Effects. Michael, how are we doing? So, just had the news. Stuff moved up and down, but didn't go anywhere. A bit of a whipsaw on that one. Afternoon, Michael, Stefan, Fletch, how are we doing? Burke. So, news this morning, today, so far, not a massive amount. International Monetary Fund came out and said that the Q1 global growth has surprised on the upside relative to forecasts. So we're not quite as much in recession as they thought we were going to be, which is good. OPEC's, a bit of news come out on OPEC. Oil basically... oil basically had a slight dip this morning, but nothing dramatic off the OPEC news, so that wasn't particularly impactful. There's nothing in red there. ECB accounts the level of peak deposit facility interest rate as well as its duration as embedded in blah 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 blah. Slightly bullish euro. Don't need to worry about that. Increasing interest rates beyond July if necessary. Same old stuff, basically. We're going to increase the interest rates, so read into that. Slightly bullish euro, but no real reaction. So the PPI figures came out on an actual of 0.1 on a forecast of 0.4. So when you look at it on Forex Factory, it's a negative. But the PPI figures... as I said this morning, that's kind of what you would expect. We've seen CPI go down. You would expect PPI to follow suit. So I don't think the market was particularly shocked by that. The good news is unemployment claims have come down. That is bullish US. So we've had a bit of a whipsaw and not a lot of market movement off of the news, but we will see what happens this afternoon. So mixed bag there for the US. Kind of expected PPI to come down. It's the same thing as CPI, really. Well, similar sort of thing to CPI. It leads into CPI. So, but the unemployment claims is good because that will help the unemployment rate potentially drop, which will, again, give them a little bit more wiggle room to increase those interest rates and get on top of everything, which will be bullish US. So we'll see. Nothing really exciting there. That's, yeah, this is amazing. This isn't amazing sort of thing. Opening range breakout on the DAX this morning was phenomenal. So if you took the pre-markets, you broke short and had a lovely reward. If you then took the pre-markets long, you broke long and had a lovely reward. If you took the 5-minute opening range today, you broke long and had a lovely reward. If you took the 15-minute today, no one couldn't make money this morning with the opening range breakout. So it's a beautiful DAX this morning. Let's hope we get the Dow the same. So looking at the US off the back of the news, Euro US dollar, basically all we've done is whipsaw. So as you can see here, we've got, that's the news. Yeah, we've whipsawed. US dollar Swiss, whipsaw. US dollar yen, whipsaw. US dollar CAD, wick up, down. So nothing happened off the news. So there is your news on the Dow. So we literally, since the little rally we had this morning, it's probably better to look on this one. So far this morning, as with the DAX and everything, we've had, DAX had a nice rally up. We had a bit of a move up on the indices. Yeah. But all that's happened is basically we've just kind of whipsawed and held where we are. So I don't see a problem trading the opening range breaks today because literally it's all just moving up and down. I think the range breaks are all absolutely fine today. The reason when I see a big strong move off of news, that's when you think, right, well, they've stuck all their money in today. There's likely nothing left for the breaks, but they haven't done that today. We've literally just had a sort of 10-minute whipsaw of orders up and down where they basically cleared the decks. So anybody that went long or short is dead. Double-ended stop run. Typical play. So we'll see what happens today. What happens with all of these. But there's room to the up and room to the down on all of them at the moment. So looking at the Dow, we've got 3 minutes to the open. So with the Dow, basically, we've been rallying for 3 days solid to the upside. Yesterday, we broke the weekly high substantially on the news and then broke back down again. So potentially this is a false breakout, double top, drop. So kind of argument is bearish on the Dow. The DAX, the argument is definitely bearish. We've been rallying now for 5 days, and I was very surprised to get this run today. We did. So this propulsion gap there and these 2 weekly highs, this whole area ADR today, 100 to 125 ADR today, if we were to get there, would be a lovely short. The S&P, we broke out, held, and have rallied. The NASDAQ, we broke out, held, and have rallied. So the Dow is a little bit different in the fact that we've come back down below that previous high. So a little bit of divergence on the Dow and the other indices. So we could get them going off in very different directions today. We will see what happens. We'll just wait for the open. We'll have a look at these. Oh, blimey, pushing up at the open. Before the open, we've got pre-market rally going on the NASDAQ and the S&P. I thought we had 3 minutes to go. Yeah, we still have 2 minutes to go now. Got a bit of volatility. This might be a bit of a whippy one. Got a lot of volatility coming in ahead of the open. Afternoon, everybody. Haven't said hello to Astro Ladder. You've seen my FF news that they're going to bring a no time limit thing. I haven't, no. My Forex fund's going to bring in no time limits. Never had a problem with time limits, to be honest. I'm either passed or blown within a month, so I don't really. But that would be, yeah, that all positive, isn't it? Afternoon, JC, outro, xrupdate.news, Neo. Why do you think the DAX dived at approximately 10.25? Why do I think the DAX dived at 10.25? I don't know. You mean pullback? It just pullback. Just a pullback, isn't it? It's a profit take move, if that's what you mean, that bit. Ooh. Busy. Dow's coming down as well. We've got 30 seconds to the open. Yeah, these are just pullbacks, if that's what you're referring to. I'd say that's what it is. Just a pullback on that run. Afternoon, Brian, Profster, Andres, Ian, outro, FTMO. FTMO to you too. Afternoon, Gray. Profster, have you seen the news about removing MT4 from all brokers so everyone can hope on MT5? No. Yeah, right. As if that would ever happen. FTMO are doing no time limits. Oh, right. Are they? Okay. And my Forex funds. It's good. Don't need time limits. Sorry, the market's just opened. While we're waffling. So I've got no breaks there. Ranges are all too small or too close to the highs. But the Dow has just come up and testing the Globex high. Bit of a whippy one on the Dow. Wow, very whippy. Kind of tell, can't you? Just before the open, that 5-minute candle before the open was a bit like, ugh, a lot of volume coming in. So yeah, big whipsaw today. So any part of this range that you've taken as a break today, your double-ended stop out whipsawed to death. Pre-market, I mean, it's just not right for pre-market today. This is why this version of the EA hasn't taken it. It's too close to the highs. It is going long, but it's whippy today. So wait for this 5-minute range to get in, and then we'll see where we are. But so far, we are trying to break the Globex highs on the Dow. NASDAQ's rallying, so is the S&P. So looks like a long break to me today. Certainly is. I'll take that. So no trades for this version of the EA, but if you had obviously taken the pre-markets, you're double dead today. I've got a long on the Dow. Just going to keep watching that at the corner of my eye. FTM on October, Profster. Have you seen the news about removing MT4 from all brokers so everyone can hope on MT5 in October? No, Profster, and I don't believe you, because if I was a business that made many millions out of sales of products on MT4 and I decided to shut my software platform down and go broke, I would be silly. They're not getting rid of MT4. Unless they really are that stupid that they would just basically go bankrupt, which is up to them. Yeah, 10% of all sales on MQL5 Marketplace go through MT5. So would you, as a business, make a decision to throw away 90% of your retail and go with a platform that's unstable and doesn't work properly? Not going to happen. Dow's pulling back off the highs. Oh, there's a lot of volume gone in there today. So very nice big range on the Dow. Not too bad on the NASDAQ and the S&P. So probably a good range break to take on these two today. This one, I think you'll struggle to get into that. This is probably going to find it hard to get any volume on there. So gone long on the S&P on that range break. NASDAQ you can take as well. But that's closed right up at that high as well. So going to need some hefty volume today. Let's have a quick look at where we're potentially going on these. So NASDAQ upside, it's basically sky's the limit really, isn't it? The NASDAQ. Don't know what that line is. We can get rid of that for a minute. So yeah, I mean, we're up in the clouds basically on all these indices. So if this is all going to rally long today, it's really just a case of waiting to see what happens price action wise when we get to ADR. But these markets are on an absolute steamroller at the moment. So we'll see if they can maintain that. S&P, same thing. Dow, a little bit different because we have got yesterday's high as a potential resistance, which is this previous monthly high here. So the Dow is the one that is much more sideways than the other two indices. So we got that reaction yesterday off of the monthly high. So if we retest that, that could be a strong rejection point if we're going to remain range bound. Certainly seems to be rejecting at the minute. It's pulling back down again. I am long, but I don't really like the look of it. But long on the NASDAQ, so on the S&P rather. So we'll see how we go with these longs, but it certainly looks like it wants to rally. Very strong open, strong bullish open. Question is always when there's no support above, how far is it going to go? You just have to hold on and hope, really. There's nothing you can do about it. Right, while we're waiting to see if those do get a break, DAX is open strong as well. Dow, not so much. See what happens to that. Then they just pulling after FTMO. Good to know. Yeah, I don't know where you heard that news about the removing time limits. I haven't seen it myself, but yeah, fine if they do. Great. But I don't think. I think that what you will find is with these prop firms, when they pull rules or they introduce new rules, it's because of either they've identified an area of the business that if they did this, it would make them more money, or they've identified an area of the business which is annoying to traders and actually financially it makes no difference. Just gone long on the Dow, just stopped out in Dow. I moved my stop loss just below those wicks. Literally, those 3 wicks there are bang in a line. I just put my stop loss just below those wicks and I've just been stopped out. Literally, a pip. So yeah, so basically, if you think about it, the vast majority of traders who are trading prop are trading low time frame scalping strategies. They're trading M5, M15, or hourly. Yeah, you will pass your evaluation within 30 days. So what they've got is a rule in place that actually doesn't do anything because everybody passes before 30 days. So removing that rule has absolutely zero impact on their business. It makes them look more attractive because there's no time limits. So everyone's like, oh, they've got a time limit. They haven't. They're better. But actually, I've never gone to 30 days, ever, on any evaluation I've ever run. I don't think I've ever hit that 30-day limit. Because you don't, do you? If you've got 30 days to pass and you're sitting on 6K and your target is 8, what do you do for the last week? I've got to up my game. You over leverage. So either you hit it or you blow it. That's what happens. It's a demo account. Okay, Dow's trying to rally long. That cost me $120, that pip. S&P out the highs. NASDAQ out the highs. Dow struggling at the Globex high. There we go. ADR 150 on the Aussie dollar, US dollar. New Zealand dollar CAD, weekly range 150. So we'll have a look at these ADRs. So as you can see, we lit up like a Christmas tree today. Lots and lots and lots there. So we'll have a look through all of those. They posted on the Discord. Well, I would not mind more time. Yeah, more time. There's nothing wrong with more time. You can run different strategies. Yeah, so I mean, you know, if you get more time, oh, Christ's sake, Dow, make your bloody mind up. I'm going to stop in a minute because literally this is going to be my 3rd stop out within 10 minutes. $325, $335. And that's missed me by a tick. I'll let it off if that one doesn't stop out. That's literally just missed me. My stop is here on that second long I just placed. I'll let it off. But if not, that's how you lose $350 in 10 minutes. Whip, whip, whip. Just trying to get a run on, basically. There we go. Going back up now. I survived. Yeah, so you can run some strategies. That other prop firm that we looked at the other day that Steve sent me, I think, that hasn't got any daily drawdown. So if you combine having no daily drawdown with no time limits, that opens up position trading as an option for trading, doesn't it? For proper valuations. But you can't position trade once you've got the account because you then have your daily limit added again. So Euro odd 125 ADR. Got a lot of movement. We're going to have a look at that in a sec. Just trying to keep an eye on this Dow. Jesus, the market's getting mental today. DAX is rallying. So it'd be nice to get an ADR run today on the S&P. Okay, let's go Dow. So I am long one Dow still. Literally, it looks different on here. This candle is in a different place on futures, but I literally am long one, stop there. So either we are going to break this Globex high and run with the rest of the indices, or we're not, and I'm going to stop out. And if I do stop out, I'm going to give it a rest for a minute because we're still inside that opening range. Look, Dow can't, Dow basically can't break. The others have made their mind up. Stop me. Meh. One of those days. Stop out. Frustrating session. First few challenges I failed were due to running out of time. Maybe some people do then. I just never have. Doesn't make sense to me, right? If I'm close to hitting a target and I've only got a small period of time left, my options are not to hit target and have to start again, or go for it, potentially blow the account and have to start again. Either way, I've got to start again. Yeah, so it's either going to cost me another $500 or it's not. But I'm not the sort of person that will sit there and go, oh, I'll have a see, that's what you just said. They give free retries. I couldn't give a monkeys about free retry. I'd rather just pay $500 because it's a difference between me paying another $500 or accessing 100 grand. Over leveraging with a chance of a 50-50 shot working or not working to access 100 grand or to cost me 500. It's a $500 trade in that last week. If you're so close to target that you could basically go, right, 2% long, cross my fingers, go and walk the dog, come back, and hopefully I've hit it. It's worth 500 quid, in my opinion. Rather than them going, here you go, have another account for free. I've still got 30 days I've got to go back to the beginning with, so I might as well just go for it. Yeah, exactly. If you've been up 4 to 6%, your target is 8, double down. What have you got to lose? 500 quid. Well, you're in it for 500 already. It's like being in a casino on blackjack and playing martingale. Same thing, isn't it? DAX still flying to the moon, is it? Yeah. S&P's doing all right as well. Well, I say it's doing all right. It's holding. It's Dow. I've picked the wrong instrument today again. So I've been stopped out 3 times now. I was stopped out here, here, and here. There or thereabouts. Yeah, on 3 long positions. If this thing flies now, nothing I can do, but I don't think this is going to hold. I think this is going to drop. We will see what happens. I'd always try to get the free retry. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Just not. I just can't be bothered. 175 weekly range, Aussie US. This US dollar looks like it's in all sorts of trouble today. So US dollar's coming down hard, dropping. US dollar Swiss ADR, got one at the moment. US dollar yen coming down. So the market not liking this US dollar PPI number either. So this is driving us down again this morning. So they're skipping the unemployment and not going with that. So this is bullish indices. We should be seeing the indices rally if the US dollar is going to drop. So it does look like we should get a break to the upside on these today, but obviously these markets are very exhausted. So we'll see what happens. Right, let's look at ADRs. So Aussie dollar CAD. The ADRs, I'm going to run through all the ADRs. I'm not going to run through all the RSIs because you're going to find that these 2 dashboards are going to line up pretty much the same. Yeah, if stuff's hit ADR today, it's extended on RSI as well. So there's no point in going through all the RSIs because all I'm going to do is go through the ADRs. Then I'm going to come over here and go through exactly the same setups again because they're all the same. So I'll go through the ADRs and then we'll see what happens. What's causing the DAX to fly? People are buying stocks, pulling the money out of the US dollar and buying stocks. Is it negatively correlated to euro US dollar? No. It's priced in euros, but it's not negatively correlated to the euro US dollar because the euro US dollar has got two things that impact it. So if the US dollar rallies crazily, the euro US dollar collapses. That doesn't mean that the euro's got any problems. It means that it's weaker than the US dollar. The euro can stick sideways. US dollar can rally crazily, which means euro US dollar comes down, but that euro could flatline. You'll see the euro US dollar come down because the US dollar is stronger. So it's not correlated to a cross. It's correlated to the euro. So if the euro was to collapse, then yes, you would see the DAX tend to rally. And that's why we're seeing the indices in the US strong at the open, because the US dollar is coming down. If the US dollar now flips and rallies back up today, the indices will drop. And it seems to me this is indicative of that potentially happening because we're not actually making any progress. Look, US dollar is coming down really, really hard. They're not putting it into the stock market at the moment. The Dow is trying very, very hard to get out of this ORB today, but it's not able to get anywhere. A lot of volume coming in, but no direction. So I don't know. I will wait. Right, Aussie dollar CAD. So Aussie dollar CAD, obviously we had an ADR hit yesterday. That was 128 on a 66. So that's 200 ADR yesterday. We are 175 ADR today. Absolutely huge moves. So the Canadian dollar coming down with the US dollar. Huge ADR hit to the upside. All these propulsion gaps getting filled. So it's basically the same move as that in reverse. So when we get back up to the highs, for a short, we're above the 80 level on the hourly. So big extension here. So wait for reverse alerts and get in short if you're not already. I've got one on already today. I'm going to be targeting previous days like high of Asia, which is 225 ADR away as the initial target, which if you look on the hourly is the top of this propulsion gap. So this is where the move started with the Canadian dollar news yesterday. So once we've tested all of this, if we're going to do the same thing, then that's where I will target. If we are going to rally and pull back, that's still a target in play. So we'll adjust target basically dependent on what happens from here. But on this move up, we've got no propulsion gaps put in, look. So it's just been very nice and evenly and orderly traded all the way up. No propulsion gaps at all to target to the downside. So, but just one position on that at the moment. That is obviously a big move today, 175 ADR. So we've got a 200 ADR move followed by a 175. Very, very weak, this Canadian. Aussie dollar Swiss. Again, the other thing we've got as well as at the moment, we've got the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar rallying off the back of the New Zealand dollar interest rates. So this is the perfect storm. Canadian and US dollar getting hammered, Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar rallying hard. So anything that's Aussie and US related, pulling in opposite directions, which means you're going to get twice the speed, twice the ADR hits, twice the RSI extensions. So inside bar just gone in on the Dow. Total indecision at the minute. Now we've broken up. So it's starting to rally, starting to look like it wants to rally, say. I really trust it yet, going long one. Going to try a long. Just because these guys are rallying, if they can break this high, we might get a pop. If we get a pop there, it might give the Dow a little bit of a kick. We need to get above that Globex, hold above that Globex, and that will probably be able to get going as well. But at the minute, it's spluttering car. I'm in danger of hemorrhaging today, but I'm only putting singles on, and I will wait and see what happens. Get something going. We could have a good little rally today. But is DAX in a daily downtrend? It is at the moment. Well, yeah, we looked at this morning, didn't we? Time frame is incredibly important. So if you are looking at that view, you would say it's in a downtrend. Lower high, lower low. If you look at it on the 4-hour chart, you'll say it's in an uptrend. 72 bounce. Challenge that high. DAX is going up. Right. Aussie dollar Swiss, we've done. Aussie dollar yen. So big pushes on these yens at the moment. So Aussie dollar obviously rallying hard, yen rallying hard. I got out of this one way too soon today, but I was looking at that high potentially. So just wanted to get that banked really. Those propulsion gaps are filled. So my initial target was just under ADR, which is why I got out there. So that's pushed up very nicely, 150 ADR. I think there's still potential for another leg on the yen. So this is a 50% retracement where we are right now. This previous support, potential resistance. So this is a good spot here of this H1 RSI extension to start looking for a short on that. So drop down, it's an ADR extension, it's an RSI extension. You've just had a reversal alert on it to go short. So good entry there on Aussie dollar yen if you want to go short. Obviously, there is a possibility of it going long as well, always, but looks good. Aussie dollar, US dollar, massive RSI extension. Again, 2 positions on this one from the initial H1 RSI extension yesterday. Second trade taken today, still going. US dollar still dropping. We've got a monthly resistance coming up at the moment. I'll make your mind up. So yeah, we got this monthly high coming up, 175 ADR. So we will find there'll be limit triggers there. So, you know, this thing. I mean, the whole move is obviously that, but since yesterday, we haven't stopped. 2 days solid. We are way up on the RSI, way up higher than we've been for a long time. So big extension this. We'll get a nice, big, fast snapback when it decides to go. But it's whether it's going to go today, tomorrow, or we're going to be waiting next week. This monthly high, we will find some triggers off of it. Whether or not it just turns into an accumulation and they basically sell into it. There's more buyers than sellers and we pop. We'll have to find out, won't we? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, very nice level coming up on that. So distance on that should be enough to get into a third. 58 by the time we get up there. So hopefully we get a nice tight reversal on M5 up there. That's Aussie US. Swiss yen pushing up again. So again, that's a nice RSI extension to the upside. Drop down, wait for that reversal alert to get into an entry on that. Again, all these yens, we've been waiting so long for these yens to pull back, and we've got out of all of them. They're all profit. Now we're stuck in the are we going long or are we going short on the yen scenario again. So it's very tricky to understand with the yen whether or not this is the start of a downward move. The last time we had that was when the Japanese intervened. This time they only needed to threaten intervention and the market moved. So I think there is a possibility of going long as well, but it doesn't seem deep enough to me as a pullback. So I'm thinking that for the yens, but we're going to need the US dollar to power up a little bit, and we've just had another negative news. So it's a difficult one fundamentally to sort of look at, but it is a short. So you've got a nice short there. If you are going to do that kind of move, obviously you can just get out on that. However, if you think we're going short, that's your short play, and you can add another one when we double top. So nice extension. Reversal alerts pretty deep, 60 pips. So it's half an ADR that move there in 10 minutes. So tricky one to get into, that one, but there's better extended pairs, I think. Euro odd. Again, these are all extended on the hourlies as well, look. So they're all at H1 M5 mean reversion opportunities as well. So Euro odd extended to the downside. Euro should be a long. Australian dollar's obviously rallying like crazy at the moment. Dow is just stuck sideways. Can't get any traction at all. We looked at this one this morning as this level. We've got this weekly low here and here. So that is the 2 week ago low. That is last week's low. We've tested that low again. So this whole area here where we rallied up, broke it, that's a nice support. So if we're going to stay range bound, this is your range low. For a long, we're extended on the RSI, we're extended on ADR, wait for a reversal alert. So if this is going to be a range bounce, perfect. If it's not, we're just going to drop, aren't we, somewhere down into here or into here. So you'll be adding, obviously, maybe 1 or 2 positions down into there, wait for the bounce. Euro yen extended to the upside, 100 ADR. That's come off already, so this one's already played out. Oh no, it hasn't actually. Again, this is the news, obviously. Half an ADR. Moved half an ADR on the news, so there's no reversal alert on it. I couldn't get into it. I'm long on this at the moment, but we'll see. Dow long going. How much have I lost today? 320. Need you to rally, please, now. Stop mucking about. So yeah, euro yen nicely extended. So this is again the same scenario with the yen. I don't know. I don't think that's enough. Same as the Swiss yen. I think we've got more downside momentum. So watch this level here for a potential bounce, that propulsion gap, which is 125 ADR today. It's not much of a target from my position. I was toying with the idea of taking this one off, but I decided not to. Unfortunately, I couldn't get another reversal alert in to add on it there because it was just wrong distances. But this is potentially a very strong resistance. We haven't tested it yet. So if we do get up to there and get a strong reaction off of it, I think that could be basically the next leg down, in which case we'll need to add into it. So I think there is more of a leg down on this yen, but we'll wait and see. It's all going to depend on whether or not this US dollar keeps collapsing. So tricky one. All these yens are very tricky at the minute. They always are. They have been all year. Nothing's changed. Doesn't mean we can't make money out of them, but you just have to be prepared to be stuck in them for a bit. Not the best thing in the world to play at the moment. So market structure on Euro New Zealand at the moment is bullish. We have had a big collapse on this New Zealand strength off of the interest rates. So looking for a potential double bottom off of that 150. We're not extended on RSI at the moment, but we are extended on the ADR. So your entry again isn't going to be until all the way up there. So very tough to get into this. A lot of these big, strong moves today, very tough to get into these because the reversal alerts are so far away because the moves are so fast and hard. We haven't got any news this afternoon, have we? No, that is it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I just saw a load of volume come into the futures markets because it's the end of the hour. So anybody trading on the hourly charts will be closing out positions end of hour. So you get a flurry and quite often a fast move in the first 5 minutes because it's the hourly close. So yeah, Euro New Zealand, big strong push to the downside. We've gone beyond that weekly level, that old weekly level, which is where we previously reacted. Not very good. So we did get the bounce there. So all of this area here basically is a big old support area. So somewhere out of here, you're going to get a bounce. So you could get your first entry long. Be better to wait until we get down to that monthly. You're going to get a much better reaction off of that. And then you'll also be extended on the RSI as well. But first entry could go in there if you wanted to. Pounds. So every single pound pair at the moment is getting crucified. Well, say that. unless it's against the Canadian. So we got lots of movement up and down on the pound. It's pushing and pulling hard in all directions. So all of these pounds, you kind of have to think long-term bullish on the pound, because we've got somewhere between 1 to 1.25 going on our interest rates moving forward. It is long-term bullish. So if you jump out and look at all of these, I mean, your pound Swiss is a bit of a bad example, but it's pushing enough. Pound CAD rally, pound odd rally, that's euro. Pound New Zealand rally, pound US rally. Yeah, it should continue to do this. Pound yen, again, same thing. So there's no reason why we shouldn't continue to be bullish on all the pound pairs. We have got higher interest rates promised. We know that inflation is stubbornly stuck. We know that our employment is all right, so it means we can put our interest rates up. So we are poised to become the highest interest rates worldwide as it stands now. So the pound at the moment, we're sitting on 5. We went up 0.5% last time. Everybody else is either frozen or gone up with 0.25%. The pound is still going hard. We've got 1% by end of year, which means we've got to go with at least a 0.25, more likely a 0.5. That's what we're expecting in August. So this will then become 5.5, which puts us on par with New Zealand dollar, and we've got another 0.75 potentially on top of it. You want to be putting your money in the pound. Yeah, so long term, top positionings long, everything should be long on the pound. So any pullbacks you see to the downside are obviously much better trades than taking shorts, as you can see with the pound yen. Harder to get out of. But all of these pounds basically at the moment are kind of mixed bag, some rallying, some dropping based on the other currency. So at the minute it's fairly dormant, being pushed around by everything else. Just watching this Dow. There's your open, look. We're half an hour now. We haven't gone anywhere. Totally stuck. S&P, NASDAQ. Just feels like any second now it's just going to go vroom, vroom, vroom. Just feels like it. We've tried to rally for 15 minutes and then gone, nope, we're hitting nothing but sell orders. Just can't get anywhere. Eventually, these buyers are just going to give up. Give it the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, pound CAD. Big extension to the upside. That one's just pulling back. I've got 3 shorts on this at the moment. Not going to get another one on that. That's the last entry taken. That's tiny. That's too far. It's only 1/4 of an ADR away, but we have obviously pushed up pretty much 1 ADR away from that last entry that I took. So yeah, nice entry there. Nice ADR extension, but again, can't get in because there's no real break of structure confirmed until we get back down below this low. This is where the last batch of sellers were before we rallied. Until we get down below that level, it's not confirmed that this is going to not bounce and rally back out where the buyers started the order. So buyers bought here. Yeah, until these buyers are out, we're still bullish. So difficult to get into that one as well. Pound Swiss. So this is a good looking buy. Got one on already. This is the most range bound of the lot though. So nice hit to the downside on the monthly. So this level here, I extend that across. Resistance. Broke it. Support. This is the first retest. Good looking bounce point. Previous level as well. There again, look. So that's my average, but this area here is where we're reacting. So good looking bounce point. Swiss franc obviously has been massively strong with the US dollar weakness. So the money's been coming out of the US, driving into the stock market, driving into the Swiss franc. As soon as it calms down, it will come back out the Swiss franc. And obviously, as long as we've got a strong pound at that point, this will pop. So downside on it from where we are. If it doesn't hold, you're looking at this propulsion here, which is these lows. So you'd be in. By the time you get down to there, you'll be extended again for that pop. So good looking long opportunity. It's an ADR hit to the upside today, actually. So looking at it the wrong way. But yeah, I mean long. But ADR reversal today is obviously already played out short. We're looking at longs on that. It's going to be one of those days today. We were talking this morning about how any system or strategy has a failure rate because there's nothing you can do to control what the market does. Doesn't matter how bullish it looks, how bearish it looks, what you're expecting, the market does what the market does. Yeah. You can't make money in this situation because it's not moving. The only way you can make money as a trader is to be able to buy at one level and sell at another level, sell at a level and buy at a level. If it just does that all the time, it's virtually impossible to get in with any meaningful risk reward profile that is actually going to work. Yeah, so you just have to sit through these days where it's frustrating. Like I said this morning, I made $1,450 yesterday on the futures. So far, I've lost $320 today, and I've been sitting here for half an hour now on a long entry, waiting for something to happen. Frustrating job in the world, isn't it? You just can't do anything about it. Stuck. Just got to take these days and go, meh, do something else. Go to the gym. Going to make more friends. Enrich your life because you can't enrich your fortunes. Going up again now. It's long. ADR hits the upside on the pound yen. Again, I think potentially we have got another leg in this, but we're going to need the US dollar to turn tail. So this is obviously rallying because the US dollar is dropping. When the US dollar then starts to rally back up again, we'll get that next leg. So nothing at the moment moving to the downside, but you are ADR to the upside. This is a tricky one from a bias perspective. It's obviously a very nice trending long at the moment, and the 24 bounce is what we often will take in a trend. Exactly where we are now. Failing that, use the 72 as a backup and take a bounce at the 72. So where we are here is a good looking bounce point if we're going to continue to rally. If we're going to push back down and there's more potential rally in the yens, then we'll be coming back down to 72. So at the moment, this is an H1 mean reversion long. Euro Swiss has just hit ADR as well. More Swiss franc movement. So yeah, it's an RSI extension long, but it is a 5-minute mean reversion short off of ADR today. 150 ADR. There's your reversal at an entry coming down nicely. So all of these you can kind of play in any direction at the minute. Yeah, we don't know where the yen's going really, so take your pick. But short scalp today off of ADR, but on the hourly, it's a little bit more of a long, so mixed signals. Pound New Zealand, at the moment, I've got a buy on this. So this is the H1 entry from today. Sorry, entry on this one today. Down at this support, we've got last week's low coming up, and then we've got previous month's low coming up at 175 ADR. So if it does drop down, we'll be looking for a bounce out of that, back up into these propulsion gaps. We looked at this one this morning when we took this. So it's now an ADR hit as well. This morning it was, oh no, it was an ADR hit this morning, wasn't it? Yeah, so that was that reversal alert this morning. Euro odd weekly range hit. Oh, it's busy this week. So there's your reversal alert. Oh yeah, this is the one that hit ADR to the pip look. So we put in a hammer exactly on ADR, literally to the pip, reversed. That was our entry. Rallied up, came down, news has hit. We've not gone anywhere. But nice looking long opportunity. Obviously pound long is always going to be better than pound short at the moment. But as long as that New Zealand dollar continues to rally, at the moment it's stronger than the pound, so may go down further. Pound US dollar rallying to the upside. What is that line? A daily level I put in. It's any trouble with MT4. You draw lines on stuff and then you go to another chart that's got a similar price. You've no idea why the lines are. So yeah, rallying like crazy. This is 4-day rally now on the pound US dollar, or rather 4-day drop on the US dollar. This is a proper Christmas tree, this Dow Jones today. Literally, the last 20 minutes, we've got about that far. Every candle is literally up, down, up, down. Absolutely no direction. We'll have a look at it again in a sec. But yeah, 125 ADR today. Wait for a reversal alert if you want to take it short. There isn't one at the minute. So yeah, big spike off the news there yesterday. I was going to say, it was yesterday. So you're about to get a reversal alert. Literally, this is literally about to in the next 2.5 minutes. That is your reversal alert about to go in now. So you got one earlier. No, you didn't. So no, this is the first reversal of the day on the pound US dollar. So entry about to go in there. If that reverses, obviously, if that gives us a reversal alert, that'll be your first signs of weakness coming through on the pound US dollar today. Looking at it on the higher time frame, obviously on the hourly and 4 hourly, we're kind of out in the clouds a little bit where we are. We're going, you know, this level here potentially might react. But I mean, could come all the way up to there. You're kind of out in the middle of nowhere on this bull run. So difficult to tell where we're going to go, but certainly a lot stronger than the US dollar at the minute. So it doesn't mean you can't short it. But we certainly need some US dollar strength on our side, aren't we? EU ORB playing out nicely today. We'll have a look at that in a sec. Wish all the other ORBs were playing out nicely today. DAX was a beauty this morning. I'm on the verge of just shutting this because pretty much an hour in and we're 45 minutes in. We haven't gone anywhere. Dead today. Market's exhausted, I think, from yesterday. It's just, we've had so many ADRs. The ADR dash literally has been lit up like a Christmas tree for 2 days solid now. So much volatility, so much volume coming in. I think they're just exhausted. They just need a break, probably down the pub. So pound US dollar, nice rejection. I've got 2 positions on that already from the RSI extension back here. So that was initial entry. Second entry, sorry, that's not true. That was the initial entry there. Second entry was yesterday. Third entry is about to go in now. So average will jump up and then we'll look for any kind of pullback on this move, basically. So the targets on this, if this is the high, obviously, which we don't know, Euro Swiss 175 of its weekly range. If that is your high, that is a shallow pullback into that propulsion. So that'll be a good target. Failing that, that's 50%. Top of that propulsion block there. 61.8, 71.9 is all the way down there. So 38 and 50s are my favorites if we're going to continue to rally in that direction. And obviously, if we do get a reversal alert here, which it doesn't look like it's going to, average is going to jump up, which makes that area there nice and easy profit. When we pull back, obviously we just, as usual, are waiting. Euro Swiss 175, covered that one already. So that's pound US dollar. New Zealand dollar CAD. Fib off. New Zealand dollar CAD. Big extension to the upside. First entry on that one today. Target wise, that's the obvious target, which is 73 pips, which is an ADR. I'll take that. Propulsion gap is where I would potentially expect us to come and retest at some point, but it depends if this is a fundamental shift. Totally the opposite to the last New Zealand news we got on the interest rates. So this high here, previous weekly level, we tapped into that. Broke it. We haven't retested it yet. So it would make sense to come and retest this level and then bounce if we're going to continue long. If we're not going to continue long, we'll probably get an A-shaped recovery all the way back down into propulsion. But either way, nice looking short, drop down, M5 reverse alert has literally just gone in. There's your alert to go in. It's just totally stuck today. I kind of just want to get my $300 back and go and do something else, because I'd just like to get the whipsaw back, but not doing anything. It's more bullish. Look at the wicks, look at the bodies. So we're closing at the highs, rejecting to there. Closing at the highs, rejecting to there. Yeah, these are all wicks, which means there's more buyers in these candles than there is sellers. But they can't get above the open. So as you can see now, it's coming down and it's stopping me out. I'm just going to let it play out. Or shall I close it? Just going to watch and see if we put a new low in on the S&P. These are the times when you just think, screw it, get out, take whatever tiny loss that will be, and just call it a day, because it's not going anywhere. But it is being supported, and there is more buyers in the market than there is sellers at the minute. So you just get the feeling at some point one of these guys might actually win the battle, and in which case then it could just rally, but certainly not going anywhere at the minute, is it? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 50% risk on it. So that wick there, and that is the pre-market 5-minute range. So that's the pre-market rally, basically, to that wick. If they break that, I'll give up. Not going anywhere, is it? Swiss yen 150 ADR, still going. Where are we? New Zealand dollar CAD. So nice ADR hit. Reversal alerts just kicked in on that. Did we get that pound New Zealand? Not pound New Zealand. Pound US. No. So we didn't get the reversal alert there. Ooh, what was that? Browser just refreshed itself for some reason. So we didn't get the reverse alert there. Again, support rectangle held. Now we're trying again. So this might be it on the pound US. New Zealand dollar Swiss. So that's an ADR reversal. That's already kicked in. Signal short. So hit to the upside. Got out of that one this morning on the long side. So that was an RSI extension to the downside there. On the hourly. Long. So yeah, potentially a short. So the structure on this is still short. So we got high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So if we're going to continue down, we're looking for a short up there somewhere. Maybe in that propulsion gap, maybe from where we are here. So good looking short. It's not extended on the RSI. That was the last time we got an RSI extension there, which was that short. So yeah, good looking potential short entry on this one. New Zealand dollar obviously is very strong. Swiss franc is very strong as well. So this is why this one's a little bit range bound at the minute, because we got a strong against a strong, but could go either way. Obviously it's come off the highs, so you've had your alert and it seems to be going. So you kind of missed that one. It's a shame, because that was the one that was only 100 ADR, and that seems to be the one that's actually rallying hard at the moment. It's down. You get the feeling when you're being watched. I've got the Dow sitting over there on the right hand side, and it keeps going down. And every time I look at it, it goes whoop. It's like a dog when you watch. Dog's watching you, and you go like that, and it goes. That's how I feel at the moment. Every time I look over there, when I can see some bearish movement, I look over and it goes, no, I'm not bearish. It pushes back up again. It's playing with me. New Zealand dollar yen. So that's an ADR hit to the upside, 150. Your reversal alert on that one is going to go in a second as well. So we have just had an alert on that one here. So that would have been an alert off of that high, that candle there. And then we've just pushed up and invalidated it. So there's your M pattern. It's a stop run M. So when you get that break, you're short. Targets to the downside on this one. Obviously, we'd be looking to break that low if we're going to continue on another leg. If we're not, we're looking for a pullback to go long. So watch this old monthly level there. But it's an RSI extension as well, short. So RSI extended on the hourly, M5 reversal alert. That'd be a good looking short. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Again, we know this is going mental. So I've got two positions on this one already. Entry was yesterday. We are parabolic. Second entry is taken today. We've just come off of 150 ADR and it's starting to come down. Watching me again. So yeah, very big extension and embedded up here. So looking for a decent pullback on this one back down into this area. This New Zealand dollar, New Zealand dollar finds it very difficult to sustain a rally usually because it just can't. It tends to go into the Aussie more. So I'd be very surprised if this can hold up against the US dollar. However, obviously, if the US dollar doesn't find any strength from anywhere and start a pullback move, then we may well find that this just accumulates or flags and rallies further. So, but I'm in too short on it at the moment. We've got these highs down here. That propulsion gap is what that accumulation break was. So that's where I would put the target to the downside, which I haven't got on for some reason, which I shall put on now. Target in that propulsion gap. I'm not going to get a third on that because it's too close. And last one is US dollar Swiss, which we know about. This thing's just the perfect storm at the minute, isn't it? Massive US dollar weakness, huge Swiss franc strength at the same time. We looked at this one this morning. I think that was 2 ADR spacing between those two entries. Or was it an ADR? Yeah, 2 ADR. So ADR on this is 68. Those two entries are 120 pips apart. So pretty much 2 ADR. This thing went from here down to here without giving a reversal alert. That was the first reversal alert we had in there. And it just about got the reversal alert and then collapsed another ADR plus. So absolutely parabolic move. Very similar to that. So obviously it's bigger. So we're hugely extended down here. Waiting, so very similar to this, which you can't see. Here's my head's in the way. So it's very similar to this extension down here before we got that pullback, 50% of the move. We're up there. When it goes. So Euro US dollar, let's have a look at Brian's ORB today. So Brian's strategy is the hourly for first 4 hours of Asia. Taking a break. So today, just broke long just about, didn't you? Somewhere in there, maybe. If not, you definitely broke there. You never got a downside break. So that's the trade today. Longer time frame, higher ORB. 5R yesterday, 3R today. So yesterday's break was there. So, boing. Obviously, that could have gone the other way as well. If the news had all come out the other way on the US dollar, you would have broken to the upside, stopped out, broken short. Same today. One thing to test, Brian, this is a manual job I'm giving you here, homework. Probably quite time consuming as well. If you can go and find an indicator that plots news events on the chart, Go and find, I might do this actually as well. Maybe I won't tell you. Maybe I might be finding a secret edge here. Go and find an indicator that plots news on the chart. I think I've had some in the past. There are free ones out there. And plot on the euro US dollar news days, just the reds, maybe oranges as well, and see what the market reactions are on the news days and the days preceding or following the news days. Because as you can see here, you often will, on a fundamental shift, get a continuation day. Yeah. So on the continuation days, you only go in the direction of the previous day's move. Yeah. So you forget any short breaks and only take a long break. Yeah. On the news days, see what the market was like up to the news. Yeah. Because on these days where we don't move very much and you get these little breaks to the downside, then it sort of breaks the upside, sort of breaks the downside, sort of breaks the up. Those are the days you're going to get killed. No news on those days. I bet you'll probably find, because the market moves on news, obviously. So might be worth a little experiment, going to get a news indicator just so that you can plot the news and just see if you basically all system development. The best system development is eliminating losses. If you've got a system that works okay, the best way to make it work better or be more profitable is not to try and improve the profitability of the system. It's to remove more of the losses in the system. So if you can identify in any system or strategy when it loses, you can use a filter to try and reduce the losses. Reducing the losses automatically increases the profitability. Because this does work, this system that you've got, it does work. However, there are days where it just gets killed. And those are the days you've got to try and identify on those days why. Is it always on a news day is always a bad, no news day is always a bad day. And don't look at just euro and US dollar news. Look at, was there news on the pound? Was there news on the yen? Not the yen. You're never going to get news on the yen, but pound news as well. Just plot the news, really. It's only pound news, US news, CAD news, and euro news that we need to worry about. If there's been New Zealand dollar news or Aussie dollar news, don't really get yen news, but those will have happened, those moves, in the Asian session. So if you've got Asian news on the Aussie and New Zealand interest rates, for example, or CPI figures for those two, that first 4 hours, usually the news is released at 5 o'clock. So you're going to get that move anyway after that first 4 hour range. So try and find a way to filter out the losses. And that can also be replicated across the board. So it'll work on euro US dollar, it'll work on the pound US dollar. You'll find it'll work on Aussie dollar CAD, Aussie dollar New Zealand, maybe. So pretty much any pair, really. The yens I would probably skip. The Swiss francs I would skip because the Swiss franc moves whenever it fancies it. So the yen and the Swiss I'd probably skip. But all the other major crosses and minor crosses, you'll probably find you might be able to filter out some of that loss with the news. And if we can find out if that is the case, we can just get a news filter EA, build it into an opening range breakout EA, and got something probably which is, I mean, you can trade this manually because it's on the hourly charts, but you've also got to be awake in Asia, which I'm not. So I would need it to actually be an EA. Thinking about it. Yeah, anyway, looks good today. Beauty. So yesterday, 5R, 3R today. So 5R on that break. Funny enough, exactly where I took a short. And yeah, at least 2R today. Ish. Yeah, very good. I'm still in the Dow. Though I'm using the will to live with it, but I am still in it. My stop loss is literally there. Literally That's my stop. Literally just missed me. So I've been in this long from here since there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes I've been sitting there being tormented by the Dow. Welcome to trading. Isn't it a fun job, they said. You can make lots of money, they said. It's exciting, they said. They were wrong. Almost 3R today. Actually, ADR is right above 3R. Yeah. Depends where you got in, obviously, doesn't it? But yeah, it's good. Nice break. There's definitely legs in it. You know, when I was doing the back testing on the strategy, when I was watching it visually, you know, it's got so many days like break long, break short. That pays for that stop out. Break short. That pays for whatever happened yesterday 3 times over anyway. That day, utter hell. You just got to get rid of these rotation days. The trouble is you cannot predict a rotation day. There's just no way to predict rotation. You can't do it. Unless we can figure out it's always the day after a news event that doesn't move the market, or it's always the day before a news event. Yeah, if there's some kind of news filtering that can do that rotation day prediction, and you're going to miss some. You're going to get some, and you're going to go, well, that should have been a rotation day, and it flew. So what? If you can filter out 60% of that loss, you'll be laughing. But there's a will, there's a way. Right, that's all I've got for you today. I've stopped out on the S&P. I'm flat basically. I'm not going to get. I've taken a $200 loss on the S&P. Made $1,000 this morning. So net 800 on the day. I think net 812. There's an overture. So yeah, net on the day. So lovely DAX, and stopped out on that. I didn't need to. If I'd have left the original stop in place, I could have taken a break even on it. But you know, if the Dow can rally now, I don't care. If the Dow can come up and break that high, I shall be $600 up. So we'll see what happens. Evaluation still on action. What's that? This evaluation still on action. What's that mean? Futures or this? Both of these are evaluation accounts, these two. These are both evaluations. Top step and E8. This one is E8. You can tell it's E8 because E8 give you funky colors, whereas Robo Forex. No, actually, I thought no, E8 don't give you funky colors, do they? They give you different shades for some reason, kind of like they're trying to identify the majors and the minors. But actually, what it is it's the Swiss francs and the New Zealands, which are deeper orange color for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah. Dow's in profit. Come on. Literally, it's all I want. Just I don't even care if you don't break it. You just have a go at it. Just go and have a look. Just see if there's anybody up there. Just do something. It's got to be nice. I was getting crushed on the back test. Tried midnight EST to London Open with some better results. Still found it's more a get in and manage from the strategy. Yeah, manage from their strategy. Yeah. Basically, midnight to the London Open, which the London Open is somewhere around about 8 to 9 o'clock, depending on what you think the Open is in London. It varies when it moves, but that's basically the London breakout strategy. And the London breakout strategy, I could never find a way of getting an edge out of it at all. I spent a long time on the London breakout strategy. There was 2 kids as well that started selling a course who were advertising on Facebook and YouTube and stuff. These 2 kids were saying, there's a fundamental problem with trading education these days. Blah, 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 blah. So you buy their course for $300 and you find out it's the London breakout strategy. It's like, yeah, that's the fundamental problem. You've just ripped off the London breakout strategy, repackaged it in a different box and sold it to me again. I knew it. That's the problem with education. Everybody's doing the same thing and selling you it with a different word in front. But anyway, but yeah, I got their course. I didn't buy their course, actually. I got their course. And yeah, load of rubbish. But they did have an edge in it, actually. So their edge on the London breakout strategy was the 15-minute fake out. So what they would do with LBO was look at it from, where are we, Euro US dollar? I'm going to call 8 o'clock the open. Whatever you want to decide is the open, but somewhere around here is the open of London. So their version of it was very much a case of wait until we've exited the high or the low, and then take a short, or wait until we've exited the low and then take a long. So their version of the LBO was basically assume that the first break is a fake, which is fine. If it's not a fake, you're screwed. If it is a fake, well done. No different, is it, to taking the breakout? So you either take the breakout or you assume a fake out. So basically, they've just given you a 50-50 shot on a strategy that's already out there. All the same stuff. You can probably tell by my face that was just come back down again. So the Dow's just tried very hard to get out of the highs and immediately been stomped on by the buyers, by the sellers. So I suspect this is our next stop before we pop back up again. So if you want to get into this today, if you fancy it, I mean, it's 3:30. We're still well into this. You know, there's a lot of session left. If we break that high there now, or we break that low there, that's your real established range today so far. So, but bear in mind, as soon as you get into these breakouts here and here, you are buying into potential resistance and you are selling into potential support. So it's going to take a hell of a run for them to actually get a move on, because as soon as they sell, the limit orders are going to trigger and push them back, and the stop orders are going to trigger and push them back from the high. So I think if it does go, it's probably going to be quite a biggie. We'll probably get an ADR or something off of it, but you know, I don't think it's working, is it? Now the news is official on my Forex Funds Discord channel. Ooh. Have they announced it here? So basically, they're scrapping the 30-day target. I don't think they ever said the maximum, did they? No, just minimums. Cool. There you go. So look, free retakes. So basically, they're removing free retakes, aren't they? Yeah. So in profit, but didn't reach the target within your phase 1 30-day limit. So basically, that's being scrapped. Which is fine. But yeah, it's good. Basically, the less rules, the better. You know, the less rules you have, the better it is. as I say, but it never affected me because I never held it. I was either basically around about, I was either slightly in loss, slightly in profit, or very close to target, or blown by 30 days. Either way, I would always make the decision to run for it. Because, you know, let's say, for example, it was an ORB. Yeah. So if you're sitting on 6% with 2 days left, you can either run it normal with a 1% risk and hope you get that extra 2%. Or let's say you drop down a little bit to 5% and you've got 1 day left. If you take a 1.5R, 1.5% risk on an ORB and get a 2R out of it, that's a pass, isn't it? But increasing your risk based on how many days you've got left and what you've got to do just makes sense to me to have a go. You might as well have a go. You know, just don't crack open the Price Action Toolkit and just scalp. Your odds are 50-50 every time a candle closes. So you've got half a chance of getting it, haven't you? It's always been my, oh no, I could stop here and just do it again for another 30 days. Nah, screw that. I'm off. Go for it. But that's, you know, that's my view on it. Some people will be happy to take the free retest, but not anymore because you won't get one. 3 a.m. my time is a London Open. Yeah, so so test whatever you want. On that time-wise, though, you need to look at wherever it is your time on your, test it on your broker, basically. But I think the reason I don't do ORBs is because there isn't an actual time the London market opens for Forex. The London Stock Exchange opens, the FTSE moves at the same time as Frankfurt, 8 a.m. But the FX pairs move when the brokers execute the orders, and the brokers will execute the orders in the banks when they are ready. So you don't have a stock market's open, let's execute our FX orders. It doesn't work that way. So you get a move which starts somewhere around 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning, which is why I think ICT has that kill zone, doesn't he? Which is, call it the kill zone, doesn't he? An hour and a half. And this is why I never used it. I could identify many times where the kill zone, all the moves started before it. And I can identify many times when the move started after it. So what's the point in having a time frame there? It's got as much chance of moving there as it has there or there. So why not have a bigger wide one and call it just trading, which is from when the market opens until roughly lunchtime. It can move at any time, couldn't it? Look at when the market opens on the Euro US dollar on these days. Yeah, so that's 10 a.m. That's 10 a.m. Just realized I'm not on the screen, am I? Hello again. That's 10 a.m. Yeah. So the move on that day started there, which is about an hour and a half after the open. The move on that day started nowhere near the open, did it? And the move today, I would say, yes, probably did start at 10 a.m. Doesn't work, does it? It just doesn't. I disproved it virtually immediately. I was like, no, that isn't the market open. That's when the move started, an hour after. You know, and if you say, right, well, let's move it forward an hour, then you'll have times where, hang on a minute, but you had that big move there. Is that the open? There is no open. It's just when orders go in. So don't fixate. This is why the London breakout strategy is so difficult and why there's so many variations on it, because there is no open. Can't call it the London breakout strategy. It happens at some point in London, so I suppose you can call it the London breakout strategy, but it's not the London open, is it? Brian, look into my eyes. My mechanical strategy wins 100% of the time and passes all prop challenges by my course. Exactly. Who's that guy advertising at the moment? Every person that has used my mechanical trading strategy has passed their evaluations. I've got an ad blocker on now, so I'm not actually going to see any ads anymore. Jared? Good old Jared. Like a bet, Jared. 84% win rate. Yeah. All right. I don't get ads anymore, which is unfortunate. So yeah. But yeah, there's that guy that says, every person that used my mechanical trading rules has passed their evaluation. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. That's a lie. They haven't. You're lying. Prove it. Call me skeptical, but they haven't. I'm stopped out on the Dow. I'm done. $400 loss day on the Dow. 485. $500 loss. There goes a third of yesterday's profit. Stop. Not happening today. Leave it alone. WB just interrupted my system, my stream. WB? Oh, that's the guy, isn't it? WB Trading. Isn't it? Is he the guy? Is the word mechanical mentioned on this page? Yep, there we go. Completely mechanical. He loves the word mechanical. Mechanical. Strategies are mechanical. I heard of a mechanical. Same before I began trading mechanical strategies. Mechanical edges. He loves a mechanical. He likes mechanical stuff. Maybe he should become a mechanic. He seems very into mechanical stuff. Okay, so there's your break of that range to the downside, look, that I said about. And that is the pre-market low that we got. So watch this. So this is the 15-minute pre-market low. See if they buy this up. So this is either a really good buy. You know what? I might even have a go. Oh, wait a minute. We've got 1 minute close on this candle. If this is a good buy and a rejection and we're just going to rotate for the rest of this session, get out up there. That's a good trade, isn't it? But if you took that break, you're selling straight into the potential buys there. So this might be it. But if this break does go, we've got potential downside. So I mean, you could go down to there. It's got no legs, is it? So it's gonna take something pretty hefty to get it anywhere today, isn't it? Right, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 2:20 for the New York session, 7:50 tomorrow for Frankfurt as usual. It's a bank holiday in Europe tomorrow. It's a French bank holiday, not German. So as far as I'm aware, there's no interruption to the DAX. We might find we've got light volatility though tomorrow. So we'll have a look at the DAX tomorrow morning. I'll be able to tell probably from the pre-market action from 7 till 8 whether or not there's any volume there at all. So we'll have to take a little bit of a decision on the DAX tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we've got University of Michigan. That's it. That's the only news tomorrow. It's day one of G20. G20 doesn't really do an awful lot. It's more politics and stuff. So that's the only news we've got. University of Michigan at 3. Does move the market, not dramatically, but we haven't got any other news. So it's just a case of waiting for everything today to kind of unwind, really. Dow's going. So support didn't hold. Well, I say that. We've got many levels this thing could bounce from. So we'll see. So yeah, so it's just a case of waiting today to see if we get that US dollar unravel. So it's still coming down at the moment against the CAD. Still coming down against the Swiss, although it's been sort of stable for the last hour. Pretty stable against the yen at the moment. Euro US dollar been holding for the last hour and a bit. I think we're just exhausted. So this is either a pause or the start of a retracement. hopefully a retracement. Will you suggest trading ORB differently with the no time limit prop evaluation now, or even using other strategies? No, there's no difference. Time limit, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to use less risk, yeah. So, I mean, if there's the thing that's always stopped me position trading in prop is time limits. Yeah. So the way that I trade with low risk, if you're taking 0.1% and 0.2% risk per trade, and you get something that goes into a squeeze for a few weeks, it's not really the time limit that gets you. It's the drawdown, the daily drawdown limit that gets you, the 5%. That's the bit that gets you. Or if you go into a multiple squeeze, you'll get done on the 10%, but you'll usually get done on the daily first. So time limit hasn't really been an issue with position trading, but it is an issue because, as you've seen from things like the Aussie New Zealand, I will be in some positions for weeks. Yeah, so that was, let's look at the 4-hour chart. You can see how many weeks it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks I was in that. That's longer than the evaluation period. So the trouble with the evaluations is you have to hit your target within that 30 days, but not only hit your target, you have to be flat. So if I can hit an 8% target and have 2 positions open still, but they're in drawdown, I've got to get rid of that drawdown. And if it takes me another 2 weeks to get rid of that drawdown, I've failed the evaluation. So it might open up the doors. But I think you'll find more likely the 5% daily drawdown limit is going to kill you before the number of days you're allowed to trade as a maximum will. So I don't think it'll make a lot of difference. With the ORB strategy, you could reduce the risk down. So take 1/4 to 0.5% risk, because those periods, US dollar CAD 125 still collapsing. Those periods where you go into stagnation on the ORB strategy. So the opening range breakout strategy has periods where the P&L does things like that, which can go on for weeks sometimes. If the market's going to stagnate and go sideways, you're not going to get many opening range breaks which are going to be hugely profitable. They'll be slightly profitable, then they'll be slightly not profitable, because you don't get the big days. So if you reduce risk, you'll be able to sit through those stagnation periods without the danger of blowing your account by getting whipsawed and survive longer. But my question is, with all these prop firms, the grabber is fast money. Yeah. You get a 100K account. If you can make 5% a month on a 100K account, you can make $5,000. If you can get 75% of that paid to you, you're making over $4,000 a month. Yeah. You're hitting your target within your 8%, 10% within 2 to 3 weeks. So if you reduce your risk down and give yourself 4 months to pass a proper valuation, that's 4 months you're not making money. Yeah. And then that's stage 1. Phase 2, if it takes 2 months, that's 6 months. Now you've got a funded account. Well done. When are you going to get paid? Next year? It's all about in, out, fast, make a load of cash. Yeah. Just lost $485 today. Made $1,500 yesterday. If I can make $1,500 2 days on the trot, there's my mortgage, my car, and my food paid for this entire month. I can do that in 3 days. If I scale my risk down to a small amount and I can make that $3,500 in 3 months, that doesn't help me pay the bills. So removing this 30-day limit, as I said, I've never had an issue with 30-day limit because I'm either in or out. I'm passed or I'm failed within that period of time. So I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. Some people will, and it'll be it's a great sales point. They change their rules all the time. FTMO, Top Step Trader are notorious for changing their rules. Always changing the rules. Just approaching the lows on the Dow. I know I said I was going. I will go. But yeah. If we lose that level, there's nowhere to stop until we get down to here. So I don't know if anybody took that short. I've called it as a short and I've called it as a long, haven't I? So It could go, obviously it could go either way, but if you did take that break to the downside that I initially said would, that range we established, but you were selling into support, you're out. But watch this for a buy. Stop under there. Potentially you got all that, which is a huge risk reward. Yeah. This is what you've got to do when you're using a stop loss. Look at what you're going to make. And you've got to be able to hold it. It's 3R, 4R. Stop there. Get in now. That's 4R. If it doesn't work, you're going to lose. Then wait for it to get down to here and do the same thing. Patience. Certainly stalling here, isn't it? But if it does break that level, again, if it breaks that level, you got all that run. Where do you put your stop? This is why breakouts are so hard. Where do you put your stop? You can't put it up there because the risk is that, the reward is that. It worked, does it? You've got to have a small risk. But if you put a risk there, likelihood it's going to do that, you're not going to get that. Trading's hard. Right, we'll leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow. Same times, 7:50, 2:20 for the sessions. We'll see how we get on. We'll play the DAX buyer tomorrow, see what it's like. Good luck with everything else. It's all basically squeezing all over the place on this US movement. So we'll see how we get on. We're down at critical levels on these USs now. So everything is very, very extended. Yeah. RSI is extended. ADR is extended. Weekly range is extended. We've got monthly ranges just started to creep in. US dollar Swiss has hit it. So, there's a lot of movement going on. After a lot of movement comes a lot of pullback. So just hold in and wait for the pings. All right, have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow. If you need anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. Otherwise, see you guys then.